Okay, so it seems like I may have kind of forgotten about this for a while. I've just been very busy. It turns out that the month of March was a lot busier than I expected, and I barely have any time in April, so I just don't want to be doing the top 15 films of the year in like September. So I've decided I'm going to do it just now. Now, why am I talking about this just now? Because I filmed the top 5 worst films about a month ago, and it's still not edited yet at the time of recording. So, yeah, I'm definitely behind on schedule. So, yeah, that's quite important to remember. Which is why I'm kind of going to go through this list very, very quickly so that I actually don't spend too long on this, and I can't be bothered editing like a half an hour long video. If you notice, the other ones are a lot longer than... Yeah, I'm just going to go on to this. Yeah, let's just go on to this. Yeah, let's just go on to this, okay? Let's just move straight into it, starting with the honourable mentions with Bridge of Spies. This actually is so sad because this was on the top 15, but then a certain film came along and then it had to get kicked out. So, here's the thing about this film. It is a very good film. I love the whole Cold War setting. I just find that era really interesting. It's not really... Yeah, let's just go era. It's probably a good word to describe it. And yeah, I think Tom Hanks is brilliant. The guy that plays the Russian spy is brilliant. Just... The whole tension behind the film's really good. It just does really well. Next up, Black Mass, starring Johnny Depp. Possibly one of Johnny Depp's best roles. He really embodied this character, which I can't remember the name of because it's been ages since I've seen it. But it was really good to see. We had Joel Edgerton, I think, also in the film, and yeah, it was really good. Very intense. I don't think I would watch it that often, which is why it's still in the honourable mentions, because I think it was a really good film, just I don't think I'd watch it that often, and I think it kind of got a bit boring at points, you know, just the usual gangster film thing. Not really, no. It was good though, that's what I'm trying to say. It was really good, obviously, because it's in the honourable mentions, and I had to cut out a lot of the honourable mentions because I realised I had like 30 films in the honourable mentions. So good on you, Black Mass, for keeping up. Next in the honourable mentions is Macbeth. Okay, this might be a bit a surprise to you, but I'm a giant Shakespeare fan. When I say giant Shakespeare fan, I mean I've seen like 2. And I like it. Okay, that's like a really bad example, but I really like this adaptation of Macbeth. As someone who's Scottish, I kind of probably enjoyed it a bit more than most, but I thought it was really interesting. Michael Fassbender was fantastic. They didn't modernise it, they didn't add in like the whole modern language, they kept to the Shakespearean script, and I really liked it. The only thing that I had against it was maybe the fight scenes weren't that good, but like I said, it's not really about the fight scenes, it's more about the dialogue and stuff like that. And all I'd say is, if you're watching this for the first time and it's like your first Shakespeare film, give it a second chance, okay? Because you'll probably hate it. But second viewing, if you are familiar with Shakespeare, or just if you are familiar with Shakespeare, you should watch this. This is a really good adaptation, and I think it's very good. That's all that needs to be said. Finally, the last honourable mention is The Gift. Okay, this was really gutting that this wasn't on the list, because this was a film that was really good, a very good psychological thriller, really intense, had a really good ending. The only thing that I had against it was not even anything to do with the film, it was more the audience. We had a complete audience that thought we were getting into a horror thriller thing, and we had some of the dumbest folk behind us screaming like, well, they weren't really screaming, they were just stating the obvious at every scene. Whenever someone's wandering around a house, oh look, he's in the house! So yeah, we had that, but Other than that, the only issue I had was it was slow paced, but this was a brilliant film and I really recommend you watch it. Let's move into the top 15 now. Starting with Ex Machina. This was just a really intense film, and the fact that it's in 15 just shows the competition of this list. It's all to do with AI and like what makes humans, and it's not one of these films that holds back. It's very in depth. It just jumps straight into it. It doesn't hold back. It goes in everything that makes a human, like everything that's in our minds, and really adapts it as well. And I think it's just a fantastic film, and it's kind of like a bit of a yeah, it's just basically Terminator except very psychological. That's all I'm gonna say. I have a full review up for it, which I don't know if I'll link because I'm having so much trouble with the. I probably won't. Like I said, I am very low on time, so just search it up. It's on my channel. Just watch the review. It's an older one, which means, and I think I'm wearing the same T-shirt. I'm not joking. I think I am. But it's an older one, so just beware of my stupid things that you would find from like a 16-year-old talking about a film that's probably a year, maybe 2 years old for him, but he understands everything. He just can't explain it properly. That's all I'm gonna say. Number 14, John Wick. John Wick is a very good thriller action film, and it's absolutely insane. It's what action films should be. It does a really great job at building up a world, like this criminal underworld. I feel that Keanu Reeves was back on track, really good in this film. I see, when I saw this film actually, I was quoted for a while. People are asking if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. That was not doing it justice, but I love that line. Yeah, but the action is phenomenal. Just this, especially this nightclub scene, straight through it's very brutal. It's basically going back to the roots. We've no longer got this shaky cam crap. We've no longer got random cuts everywhere for Liam Neeson jumping over a fence. It's very realistic, very in your face, but it also like it takes its time. You get the big wide shots and everything like that. It's what I feel like an action film should be. And also, Theon Greyjoy, can you please play a nice character for once? Right, okay. Number 13, The Walk. Robert Zemeckis' return to cinema. When I say that, it probably hasn't. I just haven't been keeping a track. I just know him from like Back to the Future. But this was a film that I was very late to go and see, and I'm very glad that I saw it because it was just so much fun. It was like a heist film at points. Like, you're putting the a wire between the twin towers and you're walking across it, and it was a very interesting look in like a performer's mind. And yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt was really good in this film. His accent was a bit strange, to say the least. It was definitely French, but there was like some. It was really weird. So yeah, I really enjoyed this film though. I thought it was very fun. It's very intense as well, especially when he's on the wire. That was quite intense to watch, and I'm glad that I saw it. And also, just so you know, I am speeding through this. I didn't lie when I said I was speeding through this. Number 12, Ant-Man. This film was just really good. I loved everything. Well, when I say it was a very good Marvel film. We had Paul Rudd as an amazing Ant-Man. Michael Douglas was fantastic as Hank Pym. I actually really saw him as the character, and I thought that was brilliant. The opening scene of this film is fantastic. Just how they managed to how they managed to make Michael Douglas young again and bring in Haley Atwell, who they were making older, and it sounds like a mess, but it wasn't. It was a really good opening scene. And yeah, it's not like Guardians of the Galaxy, in which it's very comical. It's that fine. It's not like Age of Ultron, which is kind of dark with a bit of humour here and there. it's like a good mix, and I like how it's done. Also, when Scott turns into Ant-Man, this perhaps one of the, like, it's incredible. They done a really interesting technique in which, like, they sort of focused out everything. That it's complicated. I can't remember it half yet. Anyway, it was like half a year when I saw how they'd done it. But it was very interesting and it paid off. Also, the fight scenes are awesome. Just, I'm not joking. The fight scenes are incredible. It's not just your comedic fight scenes like the ones you saw in the trailer with Thomas the Tank Engine. You've got some really cool ones in which they're shrinking, in which Ant-Man's shrinking, and then he's growing full size and then shrinking back again. It's really cool. You need to see this film. I highly recommend it. I think it's a great way to end Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there we go. Number 11. Birdman. Yes, you're right, we're going from one superhero film to a critique of superhero films. And also an adaptation of probably Michael Keaton's life. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. This is a brilliant film, really tackling how acting can be perceived from certain genres and stuff like that. How an actor from a superhero film may be compared, maybe looked down on compared to Broadway actors and stuff like that. It's a very interesting look, and also it's very interesting to see all these like famous actors and everything like that. They're all coming in, and we get to see the production of a play and the stuff going backstage. It's an absolute mess, and it kind of makes you appreciate like some of the stuff that goes on. Obviously, it's not as crazy as like what happens in this film, but it's definitely very. It makes you appreciate the stuff that happens. Also, the whole thing is done to make it look like it's in one shot, and I appreciate that as a fan. Well, when I say fan, I mean I have an unhealthy obsession with one shots. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And I really like the critique of superhero films and everything like that. And yeah, it was a fantastic look, very funny. The acting was fantastic. Yeah, let's just go with that. Number 10, Southpaw. Okay, this is perhaps one of the best boxing films I've seen in a long while. It's definitely better than The Fighter. It's just a shame that I don't have it. So let's just move on. Jake Gyllenhaal is fantastic as this boxer. And it's ultimately a story of someone who just hits the bottom, like everything. It's just, he collapses. He's at the highest possible point. He drops down and he has to get back up. And when I say it like that, it sounds very cliched. This really wasn't, and it really shocked me how realistic it was. It actually went so realistic that I think a lot of people won't like this film, because it's very realistic, very dark, very unpleasant at points, but the acting is one of the best I've ever seen, especially from Jake Gyllenhaal, who seems to keep outdoing himself like every time I see him. It's like from Everest, but to be fair, he didn't have that much screen time in Everest, so that doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, but like I said, it's very good. The acting is fantastic, as I've already mentioned. The boxing scenes, while they aren't the best, I have to say this, as much as this is a boxing film, it doesn't rely on boxing at all. It is more outside the ring. The boxing is used as a plot device, and I kind of appreciate that, because I don't like having like a bit of a gimmick in which it's just like, oh yeah, here's the boxing, cool, light bit of story to get to the next boxing match. I really appreciated it, and I think that that's one of the strongest parts of Southpaw. If you're not a fan of boxing films, still watch this film. Also, don't check out the trailer, because the trailer does spoil some huge moments from the film, and I really think you need to go into this film blind. Unfortunately, I wasn't, but I still enjoyed this film, and I think if you went in blind, you would enjoy this film even more. That's all I've got for this film. Number 9, The Martian. Okay, seeing Matt Damon stranded on Mars for an entire film sounds like one of the worst ideas you could possibly have. This really was not. Somehow The Martian became one of the best films this year, and this is genuinely just because of Matt Damon. While it's not all just Matt Damon stranded on Mars and he's like, okay, I need to survive, how do we do this? You do have like other characters here and there, and while they are entertaining, the whole focus is on Matt Damon, because Matt Damon is fantastic in this film. Not joking, this guy was, when I say this guy, Matt Damon was brilliant. They had a great way of just keeping up. He's doing vlogs to just keep himself up to date. Partly for him, partly we're blind to hope that they'll get found and stuff like that. And this was a really good idea. And Matt Damon, his character is just so much fun. He's not this really dark and gloomy person where he's just like, oh, I'm trapped, I need to do this, I need to do that. While I do appreciate a good dark character here and there, that would not work for this film. This personality is fantastic, and like it's not all happiness and everything like that. He is stranded on Mars, so you do get a lot of like breaks in which he collapses and stuff like that, loses it. He just gets really angry. He's trapped. But also seeing him try to work out, use actual science to survive is incredible, and yeah, it's very scientifically accurate as well, which I appreciate, and I loved it. I really did. And as a fan of Interstellar, I think that The Martian is also a brilliant Matt Damon rescue film. Let's just go with that. Number 8, Inside Out. Pixar's back. I'm not gonna lie, Pixar is 100% back. I fell in love with this film the first time I watched it. I thought it was very relatable, very interesting. I love the whole personification of the emotions and stuff like that. And honestly, I went in expecting a complete comedy, just something fast time. Pixar, they're usually funny and stuff like that. But what I got was something a lot closer to their original films, which I didn't actually, personally I thought they were never going to get back. They were never going to move back to Toy Story and stuff like that. But they did, and I really appreciate that. I think this is one of the best films Pixar has ever done, and it's just because of how relatable it is to everyone. It is just, it's all about growing up and changing and stuff like that, and it switches from being funny, like where you're having mood swings and stuff like that. It switches from having the comical look at that, but as well it moves on to more heartbreaking like stories. Like you don't actually realise until you've watched the film, then you're all of a sudden like, oh. And I think everybody who's seen the film knows exactly what character I'm talking about, and it all of a sudden clicks, and it's one of these really weird moments in which it makes you feel horrible inside, as well as it teaches great messages, and I loved this film, I really did. Number 7, Avengers Age of Ultron. That's right, I'm a Marvel fanboy, and Avengers Age of Ultron is 7th. What the hell is wrong with me? Well, I like Age of Ultron. I think, well, it's not the best Marvel film. The best Marvel film is still The Winter Soldier, according to me. Age of Ultron was a fantastic move forward in the franchise. I liked what they'd done with Ultron. While I would have preferred a cold and calculating villain that's not as jokey and everything like that, I still appreciated it, and it's kind of, from like what I've been, yeah, it's rather fitting for our society as well, considering it is to do with the internet, and he embodies it. So yeah, there is a lot of stuff like that. The only thing I will have against Age of Ultron is maybe Joss Whedon's writing style. I feel sometimes it's a bit too jokey, and it comes off a bit too forced, I'd say. But that's just because I've seen it done better in, like, say, the Winter Soldier, and there's something about it that, like, as the MCU starts to move darker and they start to deal with darker stories, the whole tone kind of shifts slightly with the whole comical aspect. And it's also kind of weird how the characters are starting to go through darker paths, but we're getting all these comical. It's just a weird tonal shift that I find a bit weird, and I think they're going to change that. They'll probably end up adding more jokes. Just, I'd prefer a more smooth transition. Also, this film suffers from setting up the other Marvel films, as all Marvel films seem to do from time to time, especially the big ones. This one definitely does suffer, and it does make me think, when the entire MCU is finished, it'll be really good, but at the moment it's just setting up for stuff, and it doesn't really link in yet because we don't have these films. So there's a lot of issues with that, unfortunately, and that's why it's lower. Other than that, it's really good. I liked the Hulkbuster fight, I liked the final fight, I liked Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, all them. I thought this was really good still, and I think it's actually better than the first Avengers. So there we go. Number 6, Mad Max Fury Road. My name is Max. My world is fire and pain. I don't know, I can't remember the rest of the quote. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to buy a lot of Blu-rays and stuff like that, so I haven't had a chance to recap with all these films. So, yeah, my quotes are a bit off at the moment, considering I've only seen Mad Max once, and that was approximately a year ago. Yet, Mad Max is still one of the best action films I've seen, alongside John Wick. But obviously, considering Mad Max is higher, it's better. Yeah, I loved Mad Max. I loved the simplicity of it, but just the absolute insanity it is. It's just... I don't even know how to explain it. It's Mad Max. The action is fantastic. It's pretty much all practical, which is brilliant. Tom Hardy done brilliant as Mad Max. Charlize Theron, however, pretty much everybody agrees that she stole the show as Furiosa, who... Yeah, it's like, you don't actually see much in her in the trailer, but she is like one of the best characters, and it's because it's so much more interesting. Well, Mad Max is around grunting and doing his usual grunting and stuff like that, or at least maybe Tom Hardy. I'm not really familiar with Mad Max at all, but I still really loved this film. I thought the villains were good, and we had a guy on a truck playing an electric guitar that also is a flamethrower. Yeah, this is like the best film ever. But yeah, the action's phenomenal, the acting's great. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun from start to finish. Number 5, Steve Jobs. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest Apple fan in the world. In fact, I'm probably one of the smallest Apple fans. In fact, yeah, I'm not a fan of Apple at all. When I heard they were making another Steve Jobs film, yeah, my excitement meter was definitely at the top. Especially considering the first one was considered to be one of the worst films of that year. I was very nervous about this film. I was just like, I really don't want to see this. But then I found out that it was written by the same guy that wrote The Social Network, which I can't remember his name. Yeah, I can't remember. It's really entertaining because I think he's one of the best writers alive at the moment, and it's also directed by Danny Boyle, who I also think is a brilliant director. And these two combined created a very interesting film, which has no action, no fighting, no, like, there's like nothing that would keep anyone's interest but the dialogue. There's like no tension. When I say there's no tension, there's like barely any like screaming or shouting. It's all focused on the dialogue. It's all due to like what they're saying and everything like that, and it is brilliant. If you do not want to see anything like this, if you don't want to be sitting through tons of dialogue, I still actually ask you to go see this film, because I think it's one of the best films with some of the best dialogue ever. I think this actually beats Quentin Tarantino dialogue, and that's a bold statement. But I think it's fantastic. It's very engaging. The acting is phenomenal. That's the same as acting. One of the most interesting parts of this film, though, is how it is a 3-act structure in every sense of the word, and more. There's literally a location for every act, and that sounds really terrible, really boring. It's done before every launch a new product. Yeah, this sounds terrible. It's really not, because the way that these scenes are built, acts are built, is very concise, very just smart. Everything's brought together. The dialogue just flows through these scenes, and each scene's like a different part of their lives. So, and I think it's just ingenious how they do it. I really do recommend this film. I love it. There's a reason why it's number 5 on my list. It is number 5. Yes. Number 4. Straight Outta Compton. Okay, anyone who likes me on Facebook will know how much I love this film. Mainly because I posted a picture of me straight after the film with a Straight Outta Compton caption. Follow me on Facebook like me on Facebook for the occasional random picture. Actually, I think I've only uploaded 1 or 2. Yeah, I think I've uploaded 2. Right, let's go with that. But yeah, Straight Outta Compton was a film that it's actually the biggest surprise of the year for me, and it's number 4. I really was not expecting much from this. In fact, I didn't know anything about Straight Outta Compton when I walked in. I was kind of forced along. When I say forced along, I meant I had nothing better to do, and yeah, I was just like, fine, let's go see Straight Outta Compton. I can't be bothered watching it though. But I was like, oh cool, why not? I've got nothing better to do that day, and I came out absolutely, I couldn't believe it. See, here's the thing, I thought this film was just going to be a rapper attempt at making a film, as in like, oh yes, this rapper's playing this character, we're going to get him, he's going to be running around and he's going to be doing all cool things. No, this was actually an origin story for the group NWA, and I feel like an idiot that I don't know that now, because I really like NWA's music now. But from the opening scene, this film really caught me off guard, and I was engrossed. This is a very intense, like, intelligent. It's a very smart film that deals with a rap group as they rise and fall, and it's all about these guys that are creating music about like where they came. They're doing a sort of they're basically doing a musical revolution in 2 sense of the word. They're 2 cents of the word. I'm not even sure if I said that right. I don't really care. Let's just go with it. 2 cents of the word. That's the one I'm trying. I thought I was talking about the money. It's 2 cents. Never mind 50 cents. We got 2 cents. Okay, but in 2 cents of the word, they started a musical revolution in which rap became much more mainstream, but they're also speaking out against what's happening in Compton and the injustice from the police to like gangs and violence and all that, and it kind of brings about like, it's not met with like open arms to be blunt. I'm just gonna say it's not met with open arms. I don't think I'm picking the right words at all. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. The acting was phenomenal, and I loved how they actually looked like the rappers more than like any other biopic of anybody. These actors looked identical, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was like some of the best casting you could possibly get. You could get good actors that actually look like them, and yeah, I loved it. It's very emotional, very intense. It's a really good film that I think you really need to watch to understand exactly what I'm talking about here. Because this is honestly a brilliant film. Number 3, Kingsman, The Secret Service. Okay, I'm a massive Matthew Vaughn fan. If that hasn't came across with my numerous videos on Kick-Ass 2, I don't know what will. Jesus, I've came up with like 30. I'm not joking. But yeah, I loved it. I loved Kingsman Secret Service. I think that's a brilliant film. I have a full review on that, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. Basically, I think it's a very good story, very great acting, good action, brilliant characters, all that sort of stuff. Great score, you know. So, right, let's move on. Number 2, Whiplash. Never before have I seen such an intense film. My God, I did not expect this film at all. It was actually really devastating because I expected this film to come out in New Year. Unfortunately it didn't. It came out like 3 weeks after, so it was like middle of January it came out, and I was just like so by the time it came out I was like relieved that it finally came out and I got to see it, and it didn't disappoint at all. J.K. Simmons is fantastic. Miles Teller is amazing. The music is brilliant. Every scene is very intense. It's a really great rivalry that you see between the two characters, and yeah, everything caught me off guard. There's so much subtle detail in the performances and the camera work and just the film in general, and it's just a brilliant, like, from start to finish you'll love it. And the ending, my God, the ending. Yeah. Okay, I've analysed this film so many times. I love it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a masterpiece. And it would have been number 1 if it wasn't for... Well, number 1. Number 1! Star Wars The Force Awakens. Was this really a surprise? I really don't think so. Star Wars The Force Awakens is a brilliant return to form for Star Wars. And that's coming from someone who enjoys the prequels. Well, the third one, anyway. And parts is first and second. Mainly the Darth Maul fight and the Geonosis fight. Yeah, let's go with that. I like those. That's really it. But I thought Star Wars The Force Awakens was a brilliant return to form. The villain Kylo Ren was very intriguing, very intense, had a very great presence to it. It was a lot more comical this time, and I actually really appreciated that. I thought J.J. Abrams done really well at bringing the atmosphere of the original Star Wars together. And as I'm saying this, I'm actually looking at my Empire Strikes Back poster, which is still my favourite Star Wars film, but Force Awakens is coming very close. I've seen it like 5 times in the cinema, and I'm currently waiting on it coming out on Blu-ray, so that's going to be great fun when that happens. I really enjoyed the original cast members returning, and I loved the new cast members. The practical effects were very welcomed. The fight scenes were incredible, especially the final lightsaber battle at the end. That was something else. That was possibly one of the best lightsaber fights in the entire series. And I love how everything moves in every place. The only thing I don't like is everybody complaining. Okay, this is a... When I say this is a flawless film, I can't say this is a flawless film. This does have flaws. But it's the enjoyment and the fact that it's Star Wars returning that makes this number 1. The fact that it's such a great return to form, and the fact that I've seen it like 5 times in the cinema should say something about it. I mean, I haven't even seen Avengers Age of Ultron. I think I saw that 3 times. I think Guardians of the Galaxy might be... No, I saw that 4. Now, Star Wars is the most times I've seen a film in the cinema. Alright, let's go with that then. I love this film. Really, it's fantastic. It is brilliant. And if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't seen it, well, you better have a good reason. Okay, so that was my top 15 films of the year. Well, last year, like half a year ago. So yeah, comment your top 15. Just copy and paste it from whenever you had it. I mean, it might take a while to scroll down your comments to find it, but Yeah, let's just go with that. Don't worry if you can't find it. Just put down your number one film. That's all it'll do. So as always, remember to like and subscribe. And I feel like asking you a question. Why do I keep saying that when I want you just put everything down in the bottom? That sounds really weird. Okay, see ya.